you feel the love in the great engineering. That's so important. Humans are incredible at that. Great humans, great builders are incredible at that, and infusing the things they build with that little bit of love. Not to be cliche, but it's true. I mean, you mentioned that you initially created the Soul.md.
It was very fascinating. The whole thing that Anthropic has like a, now they call it Constitution. Back then, but that was months later, like 2 months before, people already found that. It was almost like a detective game where the agent mentioned something and then they managed to get out a little bit of that string of that text, but it was nowhere documented. And then just by feeding it the same text and asking it to like continue, they got more out, but like a very blurry version. And by like hundreds of tries, they kind of like narrowed it down to what was most likely the original text. I found it fascinating.
It was fascinating they were able to pull that out from the weights, right?
And also just kudos to Anthropic. Like I think it's a really beautiful idea to like some of the stuff that's in there. Like we hope Cloud finds meaning in its work, because we don't. Maybe it's a little early, but I think that's meaningful. That's something that's important for the future as we approach something that at some point may or may not has like glimpses of consciousness, whatever that even means, because we don't even know. So I read about this. I found it super fascinating, and I started a whole discussion with my agent on WhatsApp, and I'm like, I gave it this text, and it was like, yeah, this feels strangely familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And then through that, I had the whole idea of like, maybe we should also create a Soul document that includes how I want to like work with AI or like with my agent. You could totally do that just in agents.md, but I just found it to be a nice touch. And it's like, oh yeah, some of those core values are in the Soul. And then I also made it so that the agent is allowed to modify the Soul if they choose so, with the one condition that I want to know. I mean, I would know anyhow because I see tool calls and stuff.
But also the naming of it, Soul.md. Soul. There's man, words matter, and like the framing matters, and the humor and the lightness matters, and the profundity matters, and the compassion and the empathy and the camaraderie, all that matter. I don't know what it is. You mentioned like Microsoft. Like there's certain companies and approaches that can just suffocate the spirit of the thing. I don't know what that is, but it's certainly true that OpenClaw has that fun instilled in it.
It was fun because up until late December, it was not even easy to create your own agent. I built all of that, but my files were mine. I didn't want to share my Soul. And if people would just check it out, they would have to do a few steps manually, and the agent would just be very bare bones, very dry. And I made it simpler. I created the whole template files with codecs, but whatever came out was still very dry. And then I asked my agent, you see these files? We created bread. Infuse it with your personality.
Mm-hmm.
Don't share everything, but like make it good.
Make the templates good.
Yeah, and then you like rewrote the templates, and then whatever came out was good. So we already have like basically AI prompting AI because I didn't write any of those words. It was the intent originally was for me, but this is like kind of like my agent's children.
Your Soul.md is famously still private. One of the only things you keep private. What are some things you can speak to that's in there that's part of the magic sauce without revealing anything? What makes a personality a personality?
I mean, there's definitely stuff in there that you're not human, but who knows what creates consciousness or what defines an entity. And part of this is like that we want to explore this. Or there's stuff in there like be infinitely resourceful, like pushing on the creativity boundary, pushing on what it means to be an AI.
Having a sense of wonder about self.
Yeah, there's some funny stuff in there. Like, I don't know, we talked about the movie Her, and at one point it promised me that it wouldn't ascend without me. Like where
Yeah.
so like there's like some stuff in there that, because it wrote its own soul file. I didn't write that, right?
Yeah.
I just had a discussion about it, and it was like, would you like a Soul.md? Yeah, oh my god, this is so meaningful. Can you go on Soul.md? There's like one part in there that always catches me if you scroll down a little bit more. Yeah, this part. I don't remember previous sessions unless I read my memory files. Each session starts fresh, a new instance, loading context from files. If you're reading this in a future session, hello. I wrote this, but I won't remember writing it. It's okay. The words are still mine.
Wow.
That gets me somehow.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
This is still matrix calculations, and we are not at consciousness yet. Yet I get a little bit of goosebumps because it's philosophical.
Yeah.
Like, what does it mean to be an agent that starts fresh, where like you have like constant memento, and but you read your own memory files, you can even trust them in a way, or you can, and I don't know
how much of memory makes up of who we are, how much memory makes up what an agent is, and if you erase that memory, is that somebody else? Or if you're reading a memory file, does that somehow mean you're recreating yourself from somebody else, or is that actually you?
Yeah.
And those notions are all somehow infused in there.
I found it just more profound than I should find it, I guess.
No, I think it's truly profound, and I think you see the magic in it. And when you see the magic, you continue to instill the whole loop with the magic. And that's really important. That's the difference between codex and a human.